voters I know just want to know that they can get health care, right? And Medicare for All is the right direction to move in because it represents a more efficient system. I mean, countries that do this are more efficient than we are. So it's not because we just intrinsically like the idea of this being handled by a public effort instead of by corporate America. It's that we believe it works better. It's that you would pay less on bureaucracy and more dollars would go to patient care. The reality is people say, how are you going to pay for that? How do you think you're paying for healthcare right now? If you're uninsured, you're paying too much. If you're insured, you're paying too much because way too much of the U.S. healthcare dollar goes into administrativia, not into patient care. Now, honestly, not all of that is fixed by Medicare for All. There are a bunch of problems in Medicare right now that are more technical that need to get sorted out, like the number of times some of these authorizations have to get touched by a human, which should be zero, but that's not the answer right now, and there's a cost to that. Now, I also think anybody in the 2020 conversation who lets the phrase Medicare for All escape their lips has a responsibility to talk about a pathway there that makes people better off along the way and not worse off. And to me, the way you come at this is what I would call Medicare for All who want it. So the idea here is you take some flavor of Medicare, you make it available to buy in on the exchange as a public option. And then if people like me are right, that this is a more efficient system, it will be preferred. I mean, it will give you better care at a lower cost. And more people will want to buy into it. So I guess it gives the corporate players one last chance to somehow come up with something better. But if they fail to do so, as I expect that they will, then what will happen is it'll be a very natural glide path to a single-payer environment. And by the way, even in a single-payer environment, there can still be a role for the private sector. I mean, just think about how actual Medicare has private supplements alongside it, right? And even in countries like the UK that are outright nationalized, which is a big step beyond something like single payer. Even there's a kind of ancillary private market for healthcare. But in the end, I think we need to create that glide path, and I think it will work.